The law of attraction is not a law, and it certainly isn't about attraction. People invented that label to describe what should simply be intentional creation. Deep down, we all have these desires. We instinctively feel our own power, but we've been programmed to think the worst of ourselves. I've studied the law of attraction for years, but there was always this knot in my stomach, a sense that something was missing, that this wasn't the whole story. And as I eventually realized, it wasn't. It's not about rules or steps or things we must or must not do to manifest. It's actually about our very nature, the nature of being human. All the theories and rules, they are just food for the ego. For me, the epiphany happened in a single second. I was driving. When I got into the car, I was happy, excited, but along the way, a thought popped into my head about an argument I had with a friend a week ago. After dwelling on it for a while, I decided I would apologize, even if I wasn't the one at fault. But then, something else bothered me. How was it that after only 5 minutes of thinking about it, I felt so physically drained? I didn't even remember the road I had just traveled. It was as if someone else was driving and I was just there in the memory. That was it, the insight, the enlightenment. I wasn't just thinking about the argument, I was in it. If you really look at it, the only way to remember anything is to inhabit the memory. You can't observe an experience without reliving it. And then I realized the future is exactly the same. To even know what you want, you have to experience it in your mind first. In other words, you are already there. But that's when the programmed analytical mind kicks in. It tells you it's impossible. But my insight isn't about how to trick that mind. My insight is that the ego, the analytical mind, and even hope or faith actually mean nothing. Because when you enter a scene where you already have what you want, you don't need faith. If you own a car, you don't need belief or confidence to know it's yours. You don't get excited about it. You don't doubt it. You are perfectly calm. Creation is exactly like that, a quiet, creative process. It can be exciting or it can be simple. It's your choice. But the secret isn't in the attraction, it's in the being. So, if it's that simple, if entering the thought means I'm already there, then why is it so hard to stay? After that epiphany in the car, I started to observe my own behavior every single morning. I realized that the moment I wake up, my brain is just like a computer loading old files. Before I even get out of bed, I'm already searching for my problems. I check my phone, I check my bank account, looking for evidence that I am still the same person I was yesterday. This is exactly where law of the attraction fails for most people. They think it's just a mental game, but it's actually a biological addiction. Your body is a recording of your entire past. Your cells is literally addicted to the chemistry of your stress, your doubt, and your struggle. So even when you inhabit a new thought for 5 minutes and you feel that peace, your body starts screaming. It feels unsafe in that new frequency because it's not familiar yet. Look at how we react. We enter a scene of abundance in our mind. We feel it. We are there. But then the analytical mind kicks in and asks, where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet? And in that 1 second, you have left the state of being and gone back into the state of wanting. You just disconnected the cable. The problem is that we expect the biology respond to our thoughts immediately, but we don't realize that the body is much slower than the mind. It's like a heavy anchor holding a ship in the harbor while the captain is trying to sail into the deep ocean. You can't manifest a new life while your biology is still living in an argument you had 7 days ago. I saw that my analytical mind wasn't my enemy. It was just a program trying to protect the old version of me. It wants proof because the ego survives on evidence. But like I said before, if you already own the car, you don't look for proof that you have it. You just walk to the garage. You are calm. So the real question I had to ask myself was, can I be so present in the thought that my body actually believes it's happening right now? Can I stay there long enough to let the cells catch up? Because if you can't stay in the thought without looking for evidence, you are still just a prisoner of your own chemistry. And that leads us to the next part, how to actually collapse the distance and make this state of being your permanent reality. Listen, the moment I stopped looking for evidence was the moment my reality actually began to shift. You see, searching for proof is just a habit of the old self. It's the ego trying to confirm that it's still in the control. But if you are already being the person you want to be, why would you need a sign? To be honest, the universe don't care about your hopes or your vision boards. It only mirrors your current biological frequency. When I was in my car that day, I realized that I didn't need to try to be in that argument from a week ago. I was just there. I didn't need faith to believe the fight was happening. My heart rate is up, my muscles were tense, and my biology was convinced it was a present fact. This is exactly how we must approach our future. You don't visit the thought, you inhabit it. You stay there until your nervous system can't no longer tell the difference between the memory of the past and the thought of the future. Actually, this is how the mind works when it finally stops being a victim of the environment. You become the observer who no longer waits. Because waiting is a signal of lack. If you are waiting for the money to arrive so you can feel wealthy, you are telling the field that you don't have it. And the field will simply give you more waiting. But when you are the source of the frequency, you are perfectly still. You are calm. You don't need to check your phone every 5 minutes to see if a miracle happened. If you own the car, you don't keep checking the garage to see if it disappeared. You just know it's all ready. However, here is the final trap. Even when you hit that state of peace, your physical eyes will still see your old reality. You will see the same house, the same bills, the same people. And this is where 99% of people fail. They see the old world and they immediately say, "It didn't work." In that split second, they fall back into the biological loop. So the real challenge isn't how to manifest. The challenge is, how do you stay in the new frequency when the old world is still screaming in your face? How do you make the shift permanent? This leads us to the final step, the absolute anchoring of your new signal. You see, the most biggest mistake we make is giving the outside world more authority than our internal world. But the truth is, your current environment is just a delayed echo of who you were yesterday. Fact is, it don't matter what your physical eyes see right now, because that is just dead energy from your past self. If you react to the old world, you are literally giving your power back to the past and feeding the same old neural circuits. To stay in the new frequency, you have to become a sort of biological ghost to your surroundings. You walk through the same rooms, you see the same bills, you talk to the same people, but inside, the signal are now stable and different. You are no longer the receiver of your environment. You are the source of it. You are already at the destination. You are the person who has the abundance, the health, and the peace. And because you are the source, the mirror of reality has no choice but to eventually reflect that back to you. It is a biological certainty. But listen, I know how hard it is to stay in that state when life gets loud. That is why we don't just need more information, we need biological training. This is exactly why I decided to start this channel, to show you how to stop the cycle of wanting and finally start being. You see, information are just noise unless it becomes a biological fact. Now that you understand the theory, your next step is to apply this. The more better way to actually begin to manifest is to do it within a meditation specifically engineered for that purpose, a session you will return to every single day until the signal is locked in. That is why your first next step is the identity shift protocol appearing on your screen right now. Go there, enter the thought, and stay there until the past is gone. Gently follow the path appearing on your screen now to begin the actual anchoring of your new identity. It is done.